Brought to you by ExpressCare Health and Skin Center. Get in, get out, get better.
Half a day and welcome back to Healthy Living. Tonight, we are talking about noise-induced hearing loss. How common is it and can it be prevented? Joining me is ExpressCare's Dr. Jitka Lom. All right, Doc. So, you driving around, you know, and you hear like cars really bumping, like playing music loud. But how loud is loud?
Loud. Okay, so a whisper, we measure noise in decibels, okay, and it's actually a logarithmic scale. It means that as you, it doesn't just go up in a straight line, it goes up in a very sharp curve, okay, and so 30 decibels is a whisper, 60 is a regular voice, you know, conversation. 90 is something loud like a chainsaw, and 120 is like the jet flying right over your head. Okay, this is kind of like the range. So, you know, when these really loud cars come by, they might be in the 100 decibel range, extremely loud and very damaging to your hearing if you're inside the car.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what exactly is a decibel?
So a decibel, again, is a measure that we have for hearing, and it's just a scale. And using scientific instruments, you can measure, but you can just go online and check the decibel of your average things, such as a vacuum cleaner or a hairdryer. How many decibels is that?
Okay. Now, so I understand there's different types of hearing loss. Can you share with us what types of hearing loss are from sound?
So there's the acute hearing loss from sound. That means a sudden, very loud noise that damages your hearing and sometimes even causes rupture of your eardrum because it's so loud. The sound waves, the shock waves are so strong. This would be a gunshot, an explosion, some incredibly loud music that's suddenly turned on. You're right in front of a speaker and they turn it on, something like that. And that hearing loss can be permanent. It usually isn't. Usually there's a recovery period after that injury, and you may have some improvement over time. Contrasted with the opposite, which is noise-induced hearing loss, which is gradual over time. So listening to loud music every day from your teenage years up, and by the time you're in your 30s, you've got some moderate hearing loss already. And so the way we measure that is in the decibels. If there's a job or your music or whatever is 85 decibels for more than 8 hours, you're developing some hearing loss.
Okay, then you mentioned sudden sounds, and it's happened to me where, you know, you hear this sudden loud sound and then the ringing in the ears happens. Now, what is the ringing in the ears?
Okay, so the way sound works is the sound wave goes through your ear canal to your eardrum, then the eardrum vibrates, and when the eardrum, just like a regular drum, okay, but when it vibrates, it hits a little hammer, and it's called the hammer and the stapes. These are parts of our middle ear that are little tiny little bones, and then those transmit that vibration to our nerve, which is our acoustic nerve. That's our nerve that then goes to our brain. So when you have that shock, it'll kind of disrupt those tiny little bones in the middle ear, and they'll kind of be all shaken up, and then you'll have the ringing in your ear from that loud noise, and that can persist for a while. There's lots of other reasons for ringing in the ears, but in that situation, you can expect it will get better over about a week.
Okay. Now, is there a certain age where hearing can be at risk?
Yeah, especially in the younger years, you know, that's why they check babies before you even leave the hospital. They've checked that your child has good hearing, and then they do it again in the early years in school several times to be sure your child has good hearing. Now, if you're cranking the music in the car, or there's loud noise or construction around your home, or your child is just exposed to some really loud noises, your child can have hearing damage even at that young age.
Wow, okay. Now, is it more common in men or women?
I think it's equal opportunity. Men often have more chances of getting hearing loss because of their job, working in construction and so on. Women's hearing may be a little bit more sensitive, but both men and women develop age-related and noise-related hearing loss over time.
Okay. Now, how does hearing loss happen, and is it permanent?
Yeah, so this gradual hearing loss is permanent, and the way it happens is that first you lose the high frequencies. That's the high-pitched noises, the reason for that is because basically the way your hearing works, those are the ones that go first. So that's why older people or people who have hearing loss have trouble hearing children with their higher voices, or women. They'll have an easier time hearing somebody with a lower, deeper voice. So that's what happens first, and then gradually you lose the other frequencies as well, so in all ranges. And another thing that can happen when you lose your hearing is that words become distorted and muffled, and kind of you'll hear people saying stop mumbling when you're not, but their hearing has been damaged. Even though they can hear what you're saying, they cannot discern what the words are.
Now, is that permanent, or can it just be?
Oftentimes, if it's noise-related hearing loss, over time it usually is permanent, and then generally they need a hearing aid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, well, all right, so stick around. When we return, the doc is going to answer some of our viewers' questions.